Welcome to Loup TV. I'm your host, Gene Munster, along with Andrew Murphy. This is an opportunity for us to dig more into the questions that we get asked the most about. And today, a topic is Facebook Shops. Facebook shares were up 8% on the news. That's a $66 billion increase in their market cap on the news that they, in the next several months, are going to be rolling out their shopping platform. Essentially, Facebook is going to make it easier for people to shop on Facebook and Instagram. And Andrew, you're our retail expert. You flagged this as soon as it came out. What crossed your mind when you saw the news?
Well, I think the question on some users' minds is, why isn't it easier to buy stuff on Facebook? Why isn't it easier to buy stuff on Instagram? And we can all envision how easy that should be. You see a post with an item that you're inspired by, maybe from an influencer that you follow. You tap, you see the price, you tap the object just to buy it with a simple transaction. And the bottom line is, it's not that simple. So why has commerce been this opportunity for Facebook for so long? It's no question why the market responded so positively when they finally issued a press release literally titled "Making It Easier to Buy Stuff on Our Apps." And I think that it was a moment where the market said, okay, maybe Facebook is getting their act together. And I think devil's in the details in commerce, and transactions are different than the core of who Facebook is. So time will tell.
Yeah, there's several layers here. We'll first talk about the shopping layer. You talked about the opportunity. Instagram does, in fact, I consider it a form of medication. It's a form of entertainment, form of window shopping. And as you think about the commerce piece of this, isn't this essentially just making it easier to window shop? Or is there some substance beyond what Facebook shopping could be, where it could be more of a competitor to Amazon?
Well, if you think about Amazon as the grocery store or Walmart, like online, then Facebook or Instagram could be more akin to window shopping, like you mentioned, or the mall. And that's a different opportunity, but a massive opportunity nonetheless. They also have an opportunity, I think, to redefine how shoppers discover new things, because you're owning the eyeballs at the point of influence. Literally, influencers on Instagram that are seeing these items from influencers that they love and follow with the immediate opportunity to buy. That's different than being inspired to then go to the mall to look for that opportunity. So there's something that they could invent or reinvent that I think represents this huge opportunity. Now, whether it's a $66 billion opportunity, like we've seen their shares appreciate, is another question. Or over the last 2 days, Facebook's up 20%. That represents an entire Shopify. So I think the market in total here is overvaluing this opportunity.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. That'd be my view too, is that I can see why the Facebook needs this, getting into the transaction. This has been a long and the coming piece to add to the Facebook story. I recall we were working on the Facebook IPO, or just before the Facebook IPO, had some communications with the company, and there were lots of questions related to what they're going to do in commerce. And I remember mentioning to Sheryl Sandberg, is you're really going to eventually get into the transaction and eat Amazon's lunch, I think were my words. That in fact did not happen, but it is an opportunity nonetheless for Facebook. But I see it also as a fractional opportunity relative to what commerce is. And it does change the contour. I'd say one of the reasons why the stock goes up is it's not just about commerce opportunity. It's about investors getting progressively more concerned about Facebook over the last year and their social platforms, some of the waves around regulation and how that could play out, and getting the transaction is comes as a breath of fresh air for investors, that the Facebook isn't just simply an advertising business. They don't have to be an arbitrator of truth. They can build big businesses outside of that. So I can see why that's really encouraging. Andrew, last night you tried it. You went on Instagram and tried to buy something. I'd love to hear about that experience.
Yeah, it ended up. I ended up on a website in Safari, but that's the end of the story. I'll tell you from the beginning. A year ago, I have a close friend who runs a growing direct-to-consumer business, and I remember a year ago talking to him about Instagram checkout and how powerful it would be if he could tag products on his Instagram posts so his customers could buy them right in Instagram, because Instagram is such a critical channel for them.
By the way,
That was a year ago.
jump in here. That is I think a grossly underappreciated by people who don't run businesses. What you just said there, Andrew. This is essentially
Yeah, it's their lifeline.
Their lifeline.
So fast forward a year, and he still can't do that because they're just starting to roll out checkout on Instagram to other brands that aren't the big approved selected pilot brands that have been using it. So step in the right direction, but it's taken a long time. I used the existing iteration of Instagram checkout last night. It was a belt on from Filson. I also saw an Arc'teryx jacket last night when I was shopping on Instagram, and the same outcome happened with both cases. I tapped through in the Instagram app a few times, and eventually I got to a link that said visit website, and it wanted me to execute the transaction on a website. It was a web view within the app, but a website nonetheless, not a native Instagram application. Mm-hmm. And that actually gives me pause, because the payment mechanism, Facebook Pay, just seems to be lacking when it comes to, I don't know, brands that are signed up, or the execution, or maybe even just the hardware integration. But the question for you is, do you envision Apple Pay coming onto these Facebook platforms at all? And how critical do you think the Apple Pay asset is, or do you think that Facebook could copy something like that?
Apple Pay is critical. I think Venmo would be also a critical element, something that is just widely adopted, frictionless. We estimate about 30% of iPhone owners use Apple Pay on a monthly basis. So it has massive adoption. And I would say is, I don't think it's going to happen. I know an out of consensus view. I don't believe that anytime soon Apple Pay will be accepted on Facebook. I think the biggest reason why is that that's the postscript, and the point we'll end on here is, reading between the lines, Apple and Facebook are not getting along very well, because that makes perfect sense for Apple Pay to be integrated into this. We just really simplify it. It would be great for all those Instagram businesses, but that's not happening, and I think it's not happening for a reason. So I would not be holding your breath for Apple Pay on Facebook shops. Hope I'm wrong, but I would not be holding your breath.
But the devil's in the details there, because Apple Pay is such a delight to use when you're trying to buy something quickly. You tap, double click, FaceTime, and it's on its way.
Yeah.
Any competitor is going to struggle to replicate that.
I'll leave it at a point that we agree on. Absolutely that. And I want to thank everybody for joining us for Loup TV. Gene Munster on behalf of Andrew Murphy. Bye for now.